Uh,
Oh
what
God.
the hell is going on?
This us being on a fucking podcast together.
Doesn't sound like a great idea.
record conversations of random strangers in coffee houses and places of social meeting.
I feel like that's
That's not a
definitely illegal.
podcast. That's just you being a fucking stalker.
It's not a podcast. That's a felony. uh, are we inviting people to the podcast halfway through or
I don't know
halfway?
who
Joey
wants
wants
to
to
be on the
join.
podcast.
Joey wants to join.
All he's gonna do is talk about how he has money and he spends it on bits.
Joey, what does that have to do with you being on the podcast?
That's better. That's good. That makes the podcast or you being on the podcast
Even
like a
better.
hundred times better. Yeah.
All right, Kendall. So what do you want to talk about? Because clearly we're not prepared for this.
No, we didn't
We
prepare at
didn't prepare
all,
at
which
all. We just
makes
kind
it
of
so
decided
much
to
better.
go for it.
I don't know.
There's a reason it's the forecast.
I didn't know how serious you wanted this to be, or if you just wanted to like have casual conversation.
I like
Because
having
like I
casual
have
conversations. Because
ideas of like topics, but just being like I don't know what to talk about, and then being like, so you read Ready Player One. How did you think the author portrayed the main character? Why why or why not? Cite your sources.
cite your sources. Okay, well, it's a podcast. This isn't like a discussion in English class. Like, what do you mean I wanted to start a podcast with you? Yeah, but then you literally said it's going to take a couple months. That was your exact words, Joey. And me and Kendall, when I lived with him, we talked about starting a podcast and doing something like this, and then we just never did. So today I was like, let's just go for it. It was like a great idea.
I mean, yeah, we've been wanting to do one for a while, but we've never had like a general idea or like a, a name
Yeah.
or anything at all. Just we always have weird random conversations that we think other people might enjoy listening to, I guess.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
like outside of us playing games.
Yeah, and Joey, we're the podcast isn't just going to be me and Kendall. So right now it is, but of course you can join in like not, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like we're not
So I'm totally leaking this, but I was thinking what we should do for our format is like every other one have
have
like a
a guest.
person or a group of people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I definitely want to do one where we just invite literally everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Just as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Hi Panny,
And
how you doing,
just
pal?
see how the shitstorm rumbles.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Kendall, I got to ask. Are you eating? What are you eating? Is it just gummy bears?
Yeah. A
Okay.
little.
Also, your camera is like dying.
That's fine.
Um, but seriously though, I gotta ask, what is your current like opinion on the how every game has to come out with the
Oh
BR?
god. I think it's fine. Um I know from like a marketing standpoint, it's really smart because it's what's hot right now.
Yeah,
Everyone sees PUBG popped off, Fortnite popped off, Blackout popped off, Apex Legends is popping. Even Realm Royale had a big player base for a little bit,
yeah, true.
and even people played the Royale, which arguably was dog shit.
Which makes sense.
I mean, it had a cool like idea, but yeah, I mean, as a marketing thing, it's good. As I think, okay, I think Call of Duty
Hmm.
did it right
With
because
Blackout.
there's yeah, there's Blackout, there's multiplayer, there's zombies. Yeah, there's no campaign anymore, but who cares?
I mean, and to be fair, not a lot of people even after the first like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, not a lot of people even continued playing the the storyline anyway. The
A
majority of
lot
their
of
player
people,
base were just swarming to multiplayer and zombies and everything else. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it makes
but
sense from that standpoint to not include a um to not include a single player, especially when you could have everyone working on something that is going to get more playtime.
yeah, and I think what's it called? The new Battlefield is supposed to have a BR too,
Yeah,
which is going to be cool because it's Battlefield, so it's going to have multiplayer. It's going to have like whatever else fucking Battlefield has. I don't know. I didn't play that game, but and
yeah,
I don't really like it, but it's going to have other aspects. I
yeah.
think being a battle royale one trick like PUBG or Fortnite is going to be detrimental in the long run,
I agree.
but I do think that it's smart to say, "Oh, hey, we're coming out with a new multiplayer shooter and there's a battle royale game mode."
Yeah, I agree. Like I think it's hyping or hopping onto the like the hype train of a BR is smart when it comes to the majority uh of bigger companies because they have that ability to add it in a way that I think is clever.
Mm-hmm.
So like something like Apex, where they kind of put their own spin on it with the way that the legends quote unquote are played. I think it's a lot better than having it be something like a PUBG or a Blackout, which Blackout, in my opinion, was I think kind of stale, um, not really unique. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that it just doing a battle royale that is strictly a quote unquote survival shooter where it's just you jump in, you pick up guns and you shoot people, it got stale quick.
Yeah,
And you can tell because as soon as Apex came out and everyone saw that it's free, everyone's like, okay, well, Fortnite exists, but we're gonna play Apex too.
yeah,
So I think it's a if a company comes out with a quote unquote battle royale game that isn't strictly a third or first person shooter, it that game will pop off. Whatever it may be, whether it's like in fishing battle royale where you like drop out of a plane, you get fishing gear, and then you go fishing, and whoever gets the biggest fish wins, or like what the case may be. I'm not a game dev, so don't fucking ask me for an idea. I think whoever does that first will probably get big as long as they do it right.
yeah. I agree. It's more so adding a uniqueness and trying to not just copy paste the same game into your engine. You know what I mean? Joey had
Yeah,
a good question. He said, "How often are you guys going to do these podcasts?" It's up to you. I wanted to get your opinion on it.
once a week, once every other week, maybe.
That sounds about right.
Not a lot.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing daily podcasts. Smile.
No,
Um,
100% not daily.
but you brought up Fortnite, and I wanted to actually like ask your opinion on it. The in-game events when it comes to like the marshmallow event, the rocket launch, the whatever. Like, do you think that that is like what are your opinions on it? Like, genuinely, like, because I know that we talked about the marshmallow event when it happened and how it was an interesting thing. But now that the numbers released, where there was 10 million concurrent people in game during the event watching it, like that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, quote unquote concert in the world. You know what I mean?
So I have one issue with it, one sort of gripe,
Mm-hmm.
which is just that they hyped it up and then they released like marshmallow merch in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Now, okay, they had 10 million people watch. That's really cool. That's really great. Good for them. But in my opinion, it felt like an attention grab. It felt like,
On whose part?
hey, you guys remember Fortnite?
Was the
Because
concert in
I don't know
Fortnite
if you know
free?
this, but their player base was going down before that happened.
Fortnite's
People
was?
started getting, yeah, people are getting bored of Fortnite.
Which, I mean, it comes back to the BR being stale when there's nothing added or there's nothing subtracted. There's nothing to give it any sort of uniqueness. And I guess Fortnite had that uniqueness when it came to the building aspect. Um, and then to me, I feel like people just got bored of it because of they added or with building. It was cool. It wasn't there was no other games like that. But now they're just doing things to completely like nerf that side of their game that made their game unique, you know? So it's like it's not fun to hop into a game where you're like, all right, cool, like I can outbuild this player and create that skill gap just for them to take that down with things like the boom boxes or RPGs or the new bottle rockets, you know what I mean? Something like that.
So I know why people who play that game quote unquote competitively get upset by things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also see the other side of why they would sort of nerf it because okay, you have one side where it's streamers, competitive players, etc. They
Mm-hmm.
spend money on the game. That's without a doubt. Pretty much everyone that plays Fortnite spends money. However, little Timmy who sees people streaming and says like I want to be like this guy. Their idea of that is well the game is free, so they didn't have to spend the $60. They say they get an allowance. They're going to spend all of their money on Fortnite. All their friends are on Fortnite. All they do is play Fortnite. So I think that appealing to those players that aren't in the competitive side of it is good for them market wise. They're going to keep those players in the game longer and they're going to want to play more. So they're going to want to buy more skins and more battle passes, you know?
I mean,
I I see both sides.
yeah, from my perspective, because I am one of the like I play that game. I mean, casually, but also competitively. Like I would much rather work on creating that skill gap, creating the I am better than you because I've tried harder and worked harder at it. You know what I mean? Like that sort of mindset. Um, but I see what you mean with the like little Timmy who doesn't want to learn how to build. He just wants to be able to play the game with his friends. It makes sense to do something like that. But I think what they're doing is just slowly and slowly they're losing player base because people came to that game specifically for the uniqueness of building and it not being a stale. I dropped in, I got sniped, or I got just shot at, and I had no cover because it was an open field. You know what I mean?
Um yeah, but that's not why they're losing players. They're losing players because people are getting bored. It's a shooter. You can only play that for so long. You can only cover the map in snow and then uncover the map in snow so many times before people are like, okay, it's a rinse repeat where it's just this is the same map, this is the same game. Yeah, we changed a shotgun so that instead of just getting a common or a rare, you can get a legendary.
Yeah.
People are starting to see through that rinse repeat thing. It's like almost any other game where like I think the only game that has succeeded in being consistent where it's the same game now, it'll be the same game in 10 years, it was the same game 10 years ago, and that's Counter-Strike. No other game or Dota is like that too. But almost no other game it can do one thing repeatedly and stay relevant.
Well, see, that's the thing is, when it comes to games like Counter Strike, I feel like Counter Strike has definitely had that fall off point. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still up in the very high numbers and player base, but at the same time, they did that rinse repeat beat where they saw that their game was falling off. They hopped on the battle royale train, but not only that, they also hopped on the free battle royale train. So changing their game from a paid game, which Counter Strike has been a paid game since 1999. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like changing that into a free game because that'll increase their player base, but at the same time we'll also get more of the I can't play this game because I can't afford it. But look, now they have a battle royale and it's free. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that is another just rinse repeat, copy paste from every other company in existence right about now.
Well, when I reference rinse repeat, it's not so much, hey, let's make a battle royale or hey, let's make a limited time game mode. It's more so of, hey, this is literally the same game,
Hmm.
but we're trying to pretend like it's not.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
It's like PUBG does the same thing. Oh, we released a new map. Oh, we released a new gun. Oh, there's jet skis now.
But
That doesn't make it not PUBG. On the other hand, Counter Strike coming out with a battle royale, which whoever decided that that was a good idea should probably be fired because their battle royale was pretty bad. I'd rather play Radical Heights.
oh, yikes.
Uh, that I mean that's personal opinion.
Yeah.
But Counter Strike is consistently words the same game.
See,
There is no there. They may add like maps or what. I don't play Counter Strike, so I don't really know about
well
it.
that's what I
But
was
I
going to
know that it's been the same game forever.
well that's what I was going to comment on is being someone who played Counter Strike for years and I have almost 3,000 hours in that game. I disagree. I think it is a rinse and repeat where you just get tired of playing the same maps, and they don't even necessarily add new maps in. They take maps out of the competitive map pool, they redo them in the same design with just updated graphics, and throw them back in and expect people to lose their mind over it. So I
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm totally agreeing with you, but I'm saying that they are able to do that without trying to trick their player base. Does that make sense? Because
uh
their game has been consistently played as, hey, this is Counter Strike. You get a gun, you go shoot some people, you try to plant a bomb.
I mean I
It's
guess I would agree with that, but if
everybody come attend this in-game concert. You know,
I
they
mean
don't do crap like that.
yeah, but at the same time you can say that about any game that has a franchise because think about Call of Duty, how it's I mean, they may Counter Strike may not be releasing titles on a yearly basis, but Call of Duty every single game has a search and destroy where it's the same thing. You get a gun, you plant a bomb, you defend it, you defuse it. You know what I mean? So it's like I
Well,
it to me it's I feel like that it can be said about literally every single game company or every game that has a franchise and a player base of more than one.
I I disagree with the Call of Duty comparison completely. And because of the fact that play Modern Warfare 2 Search and Destroy, then play Advanced Warfare Search and Destroy, then play Black Ops 4 Search and Destroy. They will, yes, it's still Call of Duty if you go down to the bare bones, but
Hmm.
they feel so much different.
I mean,
And there's different guns and the new Call of Duties. There's like characters that have their own special perks. There's different
true.
maps. There's different, like, you know what I mean. They're all
Yeah,
they're still Call of Duty at the base level, but there is still like things that differentiate the game.
yeah, that makes sense. But like the way that I see it is that is another attempt at hey, look at us. So like with Advanced Warfare when they added jetpacks or Black Ops 3 when they added like wall running and stuff like that. I feel like that's
Which
another it's a different mechanic than all the other ones. What
don't at me, but Advanced Warfare was a good game, and I actually really
I
enjoyed the
I
jetpacks.
knew it. It's
Do not at me.
it's I just think that it's another way of just that attention grab because if you think of the way that they marketed Advanced Warfare specifically, every commercial was, "Look, we've got jetpacks. Look, we've got the ability to climb up this building that's 40 feet tall. Not necessarily the gunplay, not necessarily the things like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because that's what the focus of the game was. Is they wanted to try to make a new mechanic in Call of Duty. Yes, a good majority of the community thought it was hot garbage, but there were people that actually enjoyed it,
Yeah, and I
and
mean,
that's all that matters,
and,
really.
and I mean that's going to happen with every single company ever, in every game ever. There's going to be the people that really enjoy it, but there's also going to be people that think it is the worst game to ever be made in the history of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but thing about that too is everyone said Advanced Warfare was garbage because jetpacks, but guess what? Every single one of those people still put plenty of hours into that game.
This is true.
There
I
was
I,
there
I will
was
agree with
not a
that.
single person that was like, "Oh, jetpacks, this is stupid," that didn't continue playing the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what the new trend will be in video games because there's always been like trends of like, oh, this kind of game mode is hot right now. Let's make that.
Yeah.
Oh, this kind of, like this thing is cool right now. Let's do that. Like I remember Call of Duty when Call of Duty was in its prime, the only other thing people played was like shit where you could be a wizard or like a knight, It
Yeah.
was either like playing Call of Duty games or like what Penny, that's already a thing. It's called indie games. People dismiss indie games all the time, but like one of the best games ever made is an indie game and it will forever be underrated.
What game is that?
Bastion.
Never
It's
heard of it.
in the grand idea, it's
Hi,
pretty
Nick.
fucking boring, but it was a really, really cool idea, and the story, the art, everything about the game was really, really great. I think.
I mean that makes sense 100%. Like there's always going to be the games that each people think are the greatest game to ever exist that
Whoa,
they
whoa, whoa,
consider to be
whoa! Let's
underrated.
pump the brakes. I didn't say it was the greatest game ever made. Greatest game ever
Didn't
made
didn't
is
he
highly
literally just say
overrated.
that it was the greatest game ever made?
One of. I
Okay.
said one of.
What do you think is the greatest game ever made?
The greatest game ever made. See, but that's hard because saying like, oh, the greatest game ever made, you just go down to like numbers of, okay, well, what game sold the most? What game is
Well,
overall
I was more so talking personal
valued as
opinion.
great? My personal favorite game slash game series of all times will forever be BioShock.
Yeah, you for as long as I can remember, you've always loved those games.
When it came out, it blew my mind because I was stuck in this. It was during that time where it was like, okay, you're either playing Skyrim or you're playing Call of Duty, or you're some at that time period you're some fucking wacko that had a gaming computer and you're playing fucking StarCraft. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in that time period, my I knew other games existed, obviously,
Hmm.
but BioShock was one of those games where it's like, wait a minute, you don't have to have multiplayer for a shooter game to be like really, really good and have a good story. And you can also fucking throw fireballs if you want to, or electricity.
Thomas says, dude, seventh grade and Bioshock went hand in hand. I
God,
mean, I
I
never,
feel old when
I
you say
never, I never played Bioshock, and maybe I'm missing out, but I don't know. I've never had an appeal for that. But I've also, at the same time, I've always been I like, I like games where I have it's a multiplayer aspect and I can have that competitive edge. You know what I mean? Like I've
yeah.
barely ever been interested in a story based game because I like to be able to say that I am better than this person at this game. You know what I mean? It's I
Yeah.
like that competitive aspect, and I feel like that's what a lot of people do, and that's why a lot of people are currently in that BR. I need to be able to play this and beat everybody phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is fine. Like it
Yeah.
works.
Obviously, it
Obviously it
works.
works. But I don't know. I'm really ready for the next probably year or two to see what the next big thing is.
Yeah.
Because as far as me, yes, I like competitive games. Yes, I like shooters. Yes, I like BRs, but I'm also someone who enjoys variety in game. So I want to see what that next thing is.
Yeah. That 100% makes sense. Um, what's your? I think the BR spike in interest and how much people have been playing BRs and interested in BRs has definitely brought on the growth of Twitch, which I think is really really cool. Seeing because at any given time, the top streamers are all streaming at the same time, and they each have over 30K in each channel. So it's like you have X amount of people with 30,000 people watching at any given time. It's like I think I think Twitch growing as a company is great, but at the same time I feel like it's a lot harder for people to get started and get the encouragement to continue streaming. It like because there's so many people trying, there's so many people doing it at the same time. I feel like it's a lot easier for people to get discouraged than when like I started or like when a lot of other people started because there's so many more people because of that. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And you are absolutely right. Top 15 people streaming on Twitch right now. BR, 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 BR. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the 15 are playing a BR.
Yeah. And
So
what are their numbers right now? Or
top
top
five
three?
is or top three is 86,000, 45,000, and 30,000.
So yes,
Shroud, Tifu, and Ninja.
yeah. So it's just kind of like the BR genre as a whole has not only increased. I feel like the amount of players just in general because I feel like more people have seen the ninjas, the tifus, the shrouds just dominating the game to where they want to try just gaming in general if they weren't
Yeah,
already before. But at the same time, trying to also change what they're doing or not change what they're doing, but like change their mindset into to becoming the next ninja Tifu shroud. You know what I mean? And trying to stream on Twitch when it's I feel like lately it's just BR streamers in general has been very oversaturated. Like I feel like there's way too many right now.
yeah, yeah,
Which I mean, it makes sense. It's a very popular thing to do, and a lot of people are. I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of growth in not only Twitch but in individual people in the last 2 years, which has been great. But it's I just feel
yeah.
like the growth on Twitch is both great, but also I feel like it's kind of detrimental.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, there is a lot of like, especially within the top streamers, there is a lot of variety. I would say,
And
um,
I agree with that.
and I think that a lot of them, minus the one or two that are, always at the top, they try to incorporate themselves with other streamers who stream things that aren't what they play specifically.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that people specifically watch the guys on top for the game that they're playing. I feel like the majority of people watch people for their personalities and stuff like that, which is great. I'm more saying the the kind of blow up of BRs in general has created this kind of community of the like in Fortnite specifically, especially lately, it's the TTV, the hey watch me on Twitch, the I'm not gonna read your chat rules, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just gonna pop into your stream and tell you to watch my stream instead. That type of mindset, I feel like that has become more popular now because of the growth of BR and the growth of Twitch in the last year and a half.
So I think, yeah, I think you're kind of onto something there. But I also feel like even if Twitch blew up off of um I don't know, Hearthstone,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was playing Hearthstone because it's a free game and it's competitive,
Mm-hmm.
those people would still exist. Those people will always exist no matter what. They're just chads of the world.
I mean, I agree. Um, but I'm Thomas has a good point. He said it's taken away from the formalities and respect he used to be able to give to other streamers, because I feel like it's the growth of someone like Ninja who, and this isn't any hate towards Ninja at all. I think what he's done for the gaming community as a whole is amazing, but the growth of someone, or the massive growth of someone like that who prides himself on being the family friendly so that all ages can watch, has sparked this thing where anyone at any age is going to try and stream, and they're going to look at their numbers from their stream and see that it's not the 200,000 subs at one point, the 200,000 viewers that Ninja was getting, and take that into, instead of like, okay, well maybe I need to change something, or maybe I need to work harder, they're going to take that into a what I would consider guerrilla marketing tactic, and just kind of like blast you in the face with their Twitch link. They're gonna do everything they can to get people in their chat rather than focusing on the content itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the day that, someone like that actually gets the popularity that they're seeking and see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like that will definitely be interesting to see, because the people that tend to put the TTV in their name, or that tend to, excuse me, that tend to, hey follow for follow, or hey watch my stream instead of yours, yeah, they may have minor success getting 2 to 3 followers every day. They may have the minor success of having 5 viewers at any given time. But I feel like in the long run, that does nothing but hurt you, because it's more people are gonna look at your stream and be like, "Oh, this kid is running around with TTV in his name, and telling other people to watch his stream and doing all these things that is kind of like bad juju in a sense." You know what I mean? Like I feel like that
Yeah.
it does nothing but, I think it's more so hurtful to the majority of people's streams than it is helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, it's just going to take seeing what happens when one of them gets the popularity that they want to see what happens next, because uh, people are going to see that, like, there are musicians who do that. They pay for their videos to be, or their songs to be advertised on specific places.
Mm-hmm.
And it, from what I've seen in instances like that, is they get a spike of popularity, and then they kind of get this, all right, I'm where I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and then their popularity starts to go down because they're not that same person that was just grinding.
Mm-hmm.
They reached where they want to be, and then they settle, and then they just create like mediocre bullshit, and then they fall completely off.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was
It
Casey
has
Neistat.
nothing
Go
to
ahead.
do sorry. It has nothing to do with having talent or skill or not, because you can be talented and still settle into a place where you are not exerting your full potential and
Exactly.
just fall completely off. There's people like I shouldn't name names, but there are people who have done that,
Hmm.
and you have seen it in today's age where they got to a they constantly were seeking that approval, got the approval that they were looking for, and then plateaued. And they only plateaued because they didn't continuously try to get bigger.
Exactly.
You
So
should, if you want to be that person, you should just continuously want to get bigger.
I think it was.
Everyone in the world could pay attention to you at the same time, and you would be like, now I want the aliens to pay attention.
I think it was Casey Neistat who talked about it in a sense of you get the feeling of approval and the feeling of like I'm doing something when you can see the growth. Um, so you can watch your videos or your streams or whatever jump from one to 200,000, you know, so you can see that progression. But then once you plateau, it's like they're like, oh, like I'm falling off, I'm not doing anything. But at the same time, it's like I feel like people are so quick to say that rather than realize like, okay, so yeah, maybe I'm not growing as much, maybe I'm not having this many, not gaining this many people in a certain day, but at the same time, you're still having X amount of people who watch you consistently or do things consistently because of you and the things that you're doing and the way that you're presenting yourself, which I think is great for the people that see that and understand, and then they use that to either progress themselves further, or they also use that to give themselves the pat on the back, not the damn I'm not doing well enough. You know what I mean? If that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah,
And yeah, Thomas, it's definitely happened, and the majority of yeah, I was about to say the majority of people that do that get caught, but there have been some who have done things like that and not been caught, and they are still pretty massive on the platform today. Um,
which is crazy because those people did that, and then their popularity was so high that they no longer had to continue to do that
mhm.
because you know attention.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, I feel like I was gonna, I'm not gonna name names, but there was a friend of mine who became friends with one of the guys that popped up into his chat randomly, and I want to say the kid was 13 or 14 years old, and on he was 13 or 14, and he was streaming on Twitch and would constantly pop into every single person he knew's chat and be like, "Hey guys, I'm live. Come watch me." Even to people that he considered friends, he would use other people's names in his title, like that had nothing to do with his stream, had no idea who he was, and it it just kind of is bizarre to me that there is this mindset of I myself am not entertaining enough, or I myself am not like people don't watch me for me, so I'm going to use other people. I'm going to use someone else's fame and popularity to get myself something. It's just kind of like, how are you as a human being perfectly okay with basically just stealing people who are like viewers who are looking specifically for one person, and it's like I feel like that has just done nothing but make the kid not, or like I don't know how I'm trying to put this, but it like it
That's
has done nothing but not help that person's stream.
so that person and those type of people are all around that same age, and it's just because of the fact that they're immature.
Hmm.
They think, okay, they look up to people like the ninja and the shroud, and they think, well, I'm not getting that kind of attention, so I will try to fish it out. um and I don't think that they really, I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but I think that they're only uh idea of how to do that is to just consistently say like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me, and that usually is a root thing of them being like a middle child, or like, and always wanting attention that way, or being an only child and always having their parents' attention. So it's like, well, if my parents pay attention to me all the time, then everyone else in the world should pay attention to me at the
Mm.
same time.
I mean, and I get that, but I feel like
But it's
there,
definitely an immaturity thing. It's 100%
yeah.
immaturity. You will never see a, well, okay, I shouldn't say never, but you will most likely not see someone older doing stuff like that.
Which 100% makes sense, but at the same time, it's like I feel like there should be some sort of way in place to teach these kids that are young and impressionable and seeing that. I feel like there should be something in place for them to learn to like not do stuff like that, because it's like if they are actually interested in growing on the platform, if they are interested in growing themselves as a person, they seeking the constant approval of someone else does nothing but hurt you in the long run.
Oh yeah, well, the thing is people are doing things to combat that, which is constantly making fun of TTV, by the way. Like, th- those streamers who are saying that, if there's anyone here or anyone that's going to see this that is one of those TTV people, I'm sorry, but they're laughing at you, not with you. Because putting TTV in your name, I get it. I understand you want to grow,
Mm-hmm.
but every person ever who has ever gotten popular in anything will tell you that it is best to let that happen naturally.
Exactly. It going into anything with the mindset of how can I make money or how can I grow and get myself this attention is gonna do nothing but harm you, rather than going into anything thinking like, okay, like I want to do this as a hobby. I want to be able to do this just to have fun. Like ask
Yeah.
anyone who is successful in anything, if you go into things specifically with the mindset of like, okay, I want to make as much money as I possibly can off of this, you're just gonna fail.
So there's a really, really popular musician recently
Mm-hmm.
who did that. He paid for attention and he got the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he is one of the biggest memes in the music industry because everyone found out that he wasn't getting his popularity naturally. And that's another thing too, is if you don't get your popularity naturally, people are always going to see you as, hey, you're that guy.
The not entertaining guy that did nothing but buy his viewers, buy his whatever.
Well, it's irrelevant if you're entertaining or not, because this said person was entertaining for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you and I were both fans of said person, and probably Thomas, and probably most of the people that we know, because it was
What
a
genre?
that singing stuff that people refer to as rap, but it's like they sing over hip hop beats. It's not R&B and it's not rap, but it's like in there somewhere.
I'm trying to figure out who the hell you're talking about. Oh, I think I might have known who you're talking about. Ignore mine. Ignore me.
Uh, I'm okay. I can't
I'm
type
pretty
the
sure.
name.
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about. But continue.
Um, but yeah, that person was talented and was had skill in the area that they were
Mm-hmm.
going for. And then again, everyone found out that they were paying to be successful, and everyone started realizing that, you know, we got tricked. Let's stop giving them attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they got turned into a meme for about a month, and now when you say that person's name, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that person.
See, I honestly like it. It makes me so upset because there's so many people who are so quick to do something like that. They don't immediately see success, and they're like, well, I need to figure out a way to get it overnight and not work hard or not figure out a way to be successful in their line of work. Which I can't remember who it was, but a comedian said something along the lines of, "It's okay to give up on your dreams if you suck," which is perfect because it's like it, everyone will tell you when you're younger to chase your dreams, but it's like if you're chasing your dreams and you have no idea what the hell you're talking about or what the hell you're doing, like it's okay to not do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, too, is okay. I will always, 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 always tell people to do what you love, do what you like doing.
Hmm.
But if you're doing that just because, like, you say you go to school to be a doctor just because you know how much money doctors make, you're never gonna be a good doctor.
Yeah, I I 100% agree. Like it's the more you go into things specifically because of the monetary gain that could potentially happen, the more likely you are to not succeed in that field.
Yeah, and even if you do, you're never going to be respected in that sense
I agree 100%.
because you have to have passion for something to for people to under like people have to know that you're passionate about something for them to care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like if you do music and you are very passionate about it and you go about things naturally, but you kind of grind, even if it's doing promos or like doing a song with this big artist or something like that, that's still fine. Like do somehow doing a stream with a big streamer, or even like if you get hosted,
Hmm.
that is all that's still natural. But constantly asking for attention is like and paying for attention is different, but I'm kind of struggling to
It's
explain it
I feel like
in
it's a
a
it's a
good enough
false
way.
sense of success.
Well, yeah, but say you're a musician,
Hmm.
you're getting some plays, some people are listening to your music. It
Hmm.
is okay for you to go out and get a Little Yachty feature. That is 100% okay as long as you are actually passionate about it and you actually care about making good music for forever. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you are some idiot that is like, oh, I want to make rapper money, I'm gonna spend my trust fund on a Lil Yachty feature. I have no other music out. I'm just gonna do that, and then I'm gonna base my entire career off the fact that I got popular because I feature from I bought a feature.
Hmm.
I guess that's the better comparison.
And I mean, but I feel like that nowadays, for some reason, which I don't agree with, is has just become the norm, where daily there's these random people popping up that until they got that big feature had one to two things out, or until they played with insert person on Twitch, they streamed twice before that. It's there's nothing wrong with doing things like that if it's something that you're not doing specifically for monetary gain.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're like, say I were to go out and play games with Tim, like I wouldn't
Right.
be doing that in hopes to like, oh, like hopefully I can like get a bunch of subs and like I don't know how to explain it, but people will constantly do things specifically for that I want to make money this way, and it always ends up just hurting them in the long run, and people don't
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah. I mean, and it's not always about money either. Sometimes it's just because they want attention, you know?
The fame and the popularity and everything
Yeah,
that comes with it.
yeah.
Which
You know, but whatever. Those people will always exist in anything that is popular.
which makes sense, but it's also I feel like, and like don't get me wrong, I know that I'm not old by any means because I'm only 20, but I feel like kids in high school, kids in middle school who are constantly looking for that approval via social media post likes, via like how many followers they have, it's creating this mindset of I didn't get enough posts or likes on this posts or on these posts that I'm not good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
It's a deeper rooted issue
exactly, but it's
for
also
me.
it's creating. I don't know if you heard, but there's been a couple, or it's actually become fairly popular with people who are attempting to be models on Instagram who are faking advertisements for companies that either have no connection to them or companies that simply don't exist because if another company sees that, oh, this person did an advertisement with insert company, maybe I'll do that and use them as an influencer and whatnot. And it's like I feel like doing that is it makes you look just completely dumb in my opinion because it's like it's again creating this false sense of well I'm successful because I did an ad for this person that doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all um an age group too, where it's like everyone 25 and younger. It's like if you don't have social media or if you don't have some sort of
Following.
popularity, yeah, then you aren't important to the world. And I specifically blame I can't name names. I blame the people that constantly brag about their popularity for that. And that's why I am very much a anti social media person. I'm not I don't I don't Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, none of that stuff. It's so pointless.
See,
Like
I
everyone does it for the idea of or 90% of people do it for the idea of I'm going to get popular or I am popular
mhm.
and that is my self-worth.
See, I feel like that like when I like first got an Instagram or a Twitter, it's like or even still to this day, the reason I use those like I have notifications turned off because I literally like I like being able to tweet things and have a stupid conversation with Dylan or Charlie or like with friends like that. Or when I create a post on Instagram, it's simply like I don't have enough storage on my phone and I can save pictures this way and not have to pay for the storage. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like it is very like in just people younger than or even older than me too now, but that are just like I haven't gotten more than 100 likes on this picture. I'm gonna delete it, or I didn't get this many followers in a day. Like I'm not good enough, or my self worth is nothing. You know what I mean? Which it's just
Hmm.
kind of like terrible because like that mindset is doing nothing but make people more depressed than ever.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone in the world can be Kylie Jenner, you know?
Yeah,
You have to find something else that you like or like even if you semi enjoy it, like do that. Who cares if you're that fucking person that's sitting in the library playing with a yo-yo? If you like playing with a yo-yo, just do it. Like
they're
that's the other thing too is a lot of people care more about what other people think than what they think, and that's what they let dictate what they do. There are people in this world that could be millionaires because they know how to do a magic trick.
Hmm.
or they know how to clean a car, or they know how, like, fucking literally anything, but they would rather appeal to their peers than do what they actually enjoy.
Yeah, there's a quote by Alan Watts, and he's talking about um, like he's talking to a group of students, and he says like, well, what do you like to do, or what do you like to do, like what do you want to do? And he says, well, when we finally got down to something which the individual says that he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that and forget the money, because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. And I love that quote because it's like you're doing things, or still quoting him, you'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is to go on doing things that you don't like doing, which is stupid because it's
Yeah.
like you are making excuses and you are constantly telling yourself that like, well, I need to do this in order to do this, but it's like if you get down to the bare bones of everything, if you want to do something, then do it. Like if there's nothing holding you back and it's something that genuinely interests you for more than 20 seconds, like forget the money, do things because you like to do them.
Yeah, it's like it's that whole old-timey thing of like, if you're not living, then what's, or if you're not, what is it? If you're not living life, then what's the point of living at all, or whatever, that sort of thing. And Grandpa Jim used to tell me this thing too back when I was younger. He said, I don't care what you do in life, as
Mm-hmm.
long as you do it to be the best at what you're doing. Even if you want to be a garbage man, be the
The
best
best
garbage
garbage
man
man.
that
Yep.
ever existed.
Yep. I remember that. And I think Logic said it in one of his songs, which make fun of me because I'm a Logic fan. But uh, what's the point of living if you ain't living a dream? I literally I love that quote because it's like,
Yeah. I mean, other people have said
well,
that,
that
if
from
not word for word. Yeah.
from that is what I will always remember that quote from. But it's just kind of like why why wake up each morning to to hate 90% of your day to come home to a house that you don't enjoy living in. You know what I mean? It's like why not do something that you genuinely enjoy, if that makes sense. Like that's how I've always seen it, and it's like I would much rather maybe sacrifice uh like I don't know how I'm trying to put this. I'd much rather sacrifice having millions and millions of dollars than sacrifice doing things that I hate for 20 hours a day.
I get what you mean. You said that kind of backwards, but it's okay.
What
I
do you
get
mean?
what you mean.
No, I'm saying
You
like
said
I would much rather.
sacrifice money or sacrifice doing things you don't like.
No, I said I would much rather sacrifice making millions of dollars than give up on doing things that I genuinely enjoy.
Yeah.
Panty said an arm and a leg.
Hey man, if that's what it takes to, get where you want to be, where you genuinely are happy about being, then I mean,
As long as you're
hug
happy
it.
being there
You've
without
got
an arm
two
and a
of
leg.
each. Yeah, you've got two of each.
Yeah,
And even if you have none of both, I mean, who cares? If you're doing what you like, there was a video I watched a while ago where people met this guy who tours and does concert photography.
mm-hmm.
He has a, I don't want to miss-say what it is, but he has like a thing that he was born with where he only has hands and doesn't have arms, and he's a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on.
Yeah. Also, Penny, there's got to be something with how much I've talked to you. I know that there's games that you enjoy. There's things that you enjoy. If and like genuinely think about it, if there was a way for you to make money doing those things, if I mean, which there is in multiple ways, then like there is a way for you to figure out how to do that.
Here's another cool thing. who cares? You don't know what you want to do yet. Guess what? The amount of time that you get to do that 4 more times or 3 more times at least. Like you have time to figure it out.
Yeah, but at the same time, I will always say like, I mean, it's very very cliche, but live life like there's no tomorrow. So it's like don't do anything that you're gonna like. Don't not do something if you're gonna regret it. Does that make sense? Like don't skip
And
out on
always do something if you're yeah, always do something if you feel like you're going to regret not doing it.
exactly.
Except for don't commit crimes.
Yes, don't commit crimes. But in like 4 years, the government will kick me out of their system. What do you mean?
Well, okay, that's an entirely different thing. Is like sometimes yes, you do have to suck it up and go work at
Just
fucking
spilled monster.
McDonald's because you have to.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean in your off time you can't pursue or try to figure out what to pursue.
Yeah, it's. I think. I think I was having this conversation with Krusty, and he was talking about how one thing that he genuinely wanted to learn, genuinely wanted to do, was to edit. And I was like, well, what do you mean by editing? He's like, well, I just want to edit videos. Like, if I genuinely think that I would enjoy it. So I was like, dude, why not edit? He was like, well, I don't have stuff to edit. And I was like, you can literally edit anything you want to. I was like, you have my permission to edit my clips. You like, even if you're not posting it somewhere, you can edit just movies or just random videos you find just to learn and see if it's something that you genuinely enjoy doing. Because the more that you tell yourself, well, I can't because of this reason, or I'm not going to because of this reason, the more that you're not going to do it. Uh,
Yeah.
Again, to quote Logic, which it's going to be an issue because I'm going to do it a lot. Saying that you can't just solidifies you never will.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that anyone ever should tell you or should know
Penny.
is just fucking do it. There is no such thing as can't. There is no such thing as can't.
But there is such thing as
you
won't. Like
saying
that.
you saying can't is you speaking it into existence
Hmm.
that you won't do it.
Exactly. uh, just to laugh at this comment, Logic nerd. I'm not. I'm not.
Technically, yes.
Technically, you can, Penny. Can you find?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can.
can.
You
You.
really can.
There's actually lots of ways that you
Yeah,
can fly. There's indoor skydiving if you don't want to jump out of a plane. There's just getting on a plane.
there's base jumping. There's I don't fucking know.
Like
Not
Superman.
a plane like Superman. Be a hang glider or be a base jumper or uh fuck, what is that thing called?
A
Be a
paraglider.
halo jumper. Yes, it is. What do you mean?
It's
It's
falling.
falling, and then you pull your parachute, and then you glide just like falling. What is flying? You mean you want to levitate? There's many ways for you to levitate as well.
It actually is now, yeah. Uh, Especially with superconductors and uh, what is that called? It's not
Yeah, forehead magnets.
magnets. No, with superconductors and I don't remember what the other thing is called, but it has. I know that it has to be effing freezing, so they use dry ice and whatever the other one is. Thing that's super cold. Right. There's a difference between
Boggy
boggy jumping.
jumping and base jumping. They're both the same. You jump from a high place and pull out a parachute. Base jumping
Oh,
just
I think
doesn't
he's trying to say
require a
bungee.
plane. Oh, bungee jumping. Yeah,
Yeah.
bungee jumping is definitely not. Well, in the literal sense, it is, but in what you're talking about, it's not.
But yeah, even if you're trying to say that you want to levitate, there legitimately is
Yeah.
ways. Like hoverboards are not the stupid ones with two wheels that are god awful. The Literally there is ways to work around that limitation of having your feet planted firmly on the ground.
Yeah. Base jumping is when you like climb up a really tall building or a really tall like cliff or something, and then you jump off your parachute.
Hmm. So again, it's just the the fact of there is ways to do pretty much
Anything.
anything.
No, not pretty much. There is ways to do anything. I'm not kidding. You can think of anything
Oh no,
in
I
the
agree with
entire
you.
world.
I'm definitely on your side on this point. It's just again, it's just one of those things where telling yourself that you can't will make it so that you never will. Immortality. In
Uh,
what sense?
create create a version of yourself on the computer. Make AI and program it to function like you. Immortality. You want to live inside your human body forever? No, you don't. You're gonna hit about 40, and then you're gonna realize how stupid that is.
Which isn't going to be a conscious mind. See,
You don't know that. Develop the technology to make it a conscious
yeah, to
mind.
be fair, the amount of AI and things that we have now is
There's
insane. So
already robots that have that.
just imagine what is going to happen in the next 20, 30 years.
Not even 2030.
10 to
Five.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's just another one of those things where it's like you can. So, Penny, like this, to put this into perspective, you can continue to make excuses on why you won't or why it isn't going to be or why things won't happen. But it's like you making those excuses themselves are just pushing the idea of doing it further and further away.
It can. It can. All you would have to do is create the means to make it that way. That isn't there. There is no such thing as can't. You're just it. You even said won't. You're just
I will
making
gladly admit I'm too
excuses.
lazy to do anything.
Yeah, it's just excuses of why you won't do it.
Yeah, it's it's just bringing back the.
But you don't want to be immortal, and I can tell you right now, unless you do it the way that I said, you don't want to live in your human body forever because you will age, and that will suck.
All right. uh, I don't know. I think the back to the topic that somehow turned into this. I just think it's insane to me how quickly people are even like not necessarily self-deprecating when it comes to social media and things along those lines, but how quickly people are to use that as an insult of the well, you don't have this many followers or I get this many likes and you don't. I think it says something really about our not necessarily even our society, but just kind of the world we're living in now, where it's everyone is looking for those clicks. The everyone is looking for the likes, the approval of other people that a lot of them have never met in their entire lives.
Um, I think that's just about people who you surround yourself with. Because I don't really know.
Oh
I
no,
mean, I
I'm
do know people like that, but I don't have any like people within my social circle that are like that.
well, neither do I. I'm
And
just
it's
saying the
it's just a kid thing. It's just it really comes down to an immaturity kid thing.
well,
That's it.
I'm saying the vast majority of people all the time. So think of the the mom in her 40s who will hashtag things and then post in groups of thousands of people trying to get that approval. Like I know that it's mostly looked at as a oh it's just a young kid thing. It's just a I mean maybe it's even in older people it's still a maturity thing, but it's I think still it is kind of like a social acceptance of or like it's socially accepted for people to get picked on because of their likes, which it's just kind of upsetting and sad to me.
No, that still is a maturity thing, 100%.
Hmm.
But it's so popular that people are normalizing it.
Yeah. And I agree that it most likely started in the younger age, but I also
It
feel like it's grown to
it
a. Hmm?
that's the thing is it didn't it happened through like the I don't know like Paris Hilton back in the day. Nobody really understood why she was popular. I mean, people did understand why she was popular, but she was popular for the fact that she was popular
Hmm.
for the most part. And a lot of people looked up to that. It started way back, and even before that, really.
Well,
But
yeah,
that's a really specific example of people being popular just because they're popular, and they wanted that. They didn't see the background of like, oh, they do this, this, and this. They, you know,
I
they
mean,
work
yeah,
to do this, whatever.
that
And it happened through older teenagers and like 20-year-old stuff,
well, yeah, but that's the thing is
not like kids.
I feel like it's putting it into a specific age group is wrong because I feel like it's literally everywhere where whether it be on something like a YouTube or a Twitch or a an Instagram, a Twitter, or any sort of thing that has any sort of social impact or social like outreach. I feel like it is there in everybody in every age. Because like I'll admit, like sometimes I'll have days where I'm like, damn, dude, like it'd be cool if more people are in my stream watching just so I could interact with them. But I feel like what definitely separates each group or each person is that are you gonna let that affect you mentally, or now are you gonna let that affect the way that you work as a person?
Yeah. And it's, yeah, like I said, it's a maturity thing. But I compare it mostly to younger people because of the fact that the older people, like the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, whatever, those people are doing it because young people are doing it.
Yeah, and I mean I would agree, but at the same time I
It's a
also
young, hip thing, you know what I mean?
but I would also agree that there is a lot of older people who would in a lot of ways are considered mature, but when it comes specifically to social media, it's they have the same mindset of I need likes, I need people to follow me, I need stuff like that. So I don't know if it's necessarily a maturity thing or if it's just a social media thing.
Just because you have a job and a house and kids and you're married and you you pay your mortgage and you know how to file your taxes doesn't mean that you can't be socially immature.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was
It
kind of hinting towards it. I feel like it's more so a not even necessarily even social immaturity because I feel like the majority of people that are after the likes, the clicks, whatever, aren't like that when it comes to in person, and they aren't like that with the constant attention needy stuff like that. I feel like it's a social media immaturity,
I well eh.
or
I
maybe it's
think
just not
this
as
is a
visible.
very agreed. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing too. Is it's not as visible. It's a different mental stimulation
Hmm.
from an immaturity thing. Because if you are mature in that sense, you understand that who fucking cares.
Yeah, because
You know what I mean?
it's just like how everybody says it's at the end of the day we all end up dead. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, yeah.
It's like art. I want.
You either die or you get deaded.
I want to say it was Brian Cox who said like if you think about how much of the universe that we know, our action on whether or not we drink a Pepsi or a Coke has like just for an example, our our choices and the things we do have such little impact on everything else. Like it legitimately me streaming right now or you wearing a black t-shirt has the same amount of impact on if I have 20 million followers or 2.
I
Like
mean, there are specific instances where it can be wrong, but yeah, I
like
know what
it's
you mean.
more so like at the end of the day, none of it matters.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the thing that people really kind of uh it's like a conspiracy theory in a way. The butterfly effect is not real because the wind blows in my room right now. There isn't a volcano going off on a different planet millions of miles away. That's not a real thing.
Trying to tie the two together, I feel like is definitely a long, long reach.
Now, because you walked into the street when there was a car coming at you is a different story.
Because that is a direct impact. There's the connection between you walking into the street and the car hitting you. But
Yeah, a
because you
direct impact. I'm glad
and,
you picked that up.
uh, but you walking into the street and getting hit by a car doesn't mean that some alien however many miles away got into an accident at the same time. Like it's literally just coincidences that I feel like people are so quick to judge. And I feel like it's the same like, oh, people act up because the moon is full today. Like the way that the moon is has literally zero impact
Whoa,
on.
let's settle down there. That has been scientifically
No, it
proven
hasn't.
that that does affect people. It's
No,
about gravity.
no, it's literally been proven that it has no. Kendall, the way that the sun shines on the moon has no effect on the distance between the the Earth
Oh,
and the
you're
moon.
talking about whether the moon is full or not. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about like planets being in a specific
No, 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 no.
distance.
People will
Okay.
say that because it's
Like I was gonna
a
say
full moon,
that's different.
people try
Yeah,
to blame the fact that it's a full moon on that why they like hit somebody. Like no, like
no.
it
That's called being delusional, and you tie coincidences to very different.
and I feel like that's why I'm like I will never understand people that talk about like signs like, oh, I'm a this, I'm a that. It's like, oh, cool, your magazine said something very very vague, and you happen to fit in that
I'm
line.
addicted to crack because I'm a tourist.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's things like that. I will never understand because it's like there's no like correlation between the two. It's like you're doing this specifically because you have no self control, not because like you were born on a specific date.
yeah. I think it's very much placebo.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's placebo. You thinking that something is true speaks it into existence. So if you really think that your astrological sign will make you one way or another, you're going to adapt to that because deep down in your brain, you're constantly telling I'm a Gemini, so I have to be two faced because the astrological sign is two things. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that that kind of mentality is just people that are gonna be like that. They're
there.
gonna let something else dictate their life because they can't figure it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Uh, it it kind of been sitting in the back of my mind since we talked about it. Do you think there is aliens?
I mean, there has to be, right? There's no fucking way that we are the only living being, living organisms, even. There could be plants billions and billions of light years away. How
Yeah,
do we know?
yeah.
I don't know, so I have to say that there's a possibility that yes, they do exist.
Mhm.
Do I wish that that wasn't true? Absolutely, because
Because you are
aliens are my
terrified.
biggest fear. Yeah.
I mean, I 100% agree with you, but there's actually a lot of like physicists and astronomers or people that will say like, do I think there is the possibility that there is something else out there? Of course, but do I think that there is? No, because like I feel like we could have seen them, and I think Brian Cox on the Joe Rogan podcast talked about how
That guy
if
smokes weed.
Joe Rogan or Brian Cox?
Both.
um, I think he talked about how like if there was something out there that even if they were as civilized as us or even further beyond, because we always think of aliens as these interplanetary beings who can drive their spaceships everywhere. You would think that we would see them and not just the I live in Louisiana and saw lights in the sky one day. Like you would think that we would.
Um, I that's a very thing because assuming that because something exists, we have to interact with
Well, no,
it
I was.
is kind of stupid.
I mean, I agree, but I'm saying like
If if there's aliens billions and billions of light years away, they could know that we exist, and they're like, "Hello, they're so far behind us. Why would we bother?"
yeah, it's.
Or
I
they're
was.
so far behind us that they would never know that we exist either.
It's. I was gonna say it's. Like I was currently leading up to it, but Joe Rogan's response to that is it's like the island of I don't even remember what the name was where there was it's literally like there's barely like 1,000 people living on it that have never come into contact with anyone else.
Oh, dude, those people are sick. That story of the video of the helicopter flying over and they throw fucking sticks and rocks at it because they think it's an like some alien or like some like dinosaurs. Dude, those people
it's
that I've seen that video. It's crazy.
it's crazy to think about because what if there are other things out there that know of Earth and they see us and it's like we are like that island where they're just like dude, they're not even invited to the party because they can't get spaceships up here to last for more than 45 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like, so what if Earth as a planet is that island of oh we're not supposed to go there because they don't know that we exist. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
something cool to think about.
Yeah, no, that is I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. We don't know.
Yeah.
Who does? I don't I can't answer that.
Damn, we've been doing this for an hour and a half.
That oh,
I was just
okay.
I don't know why it felt like 20 minutes.
That's usually how podcasts go.
Yeah.
If you're listening to or watching one after the fact, it feels really feel the amount of time it takes. But if you're participating,
Mm-hmm. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
no. Actually, yeah. Fuck aliens, and I'm talking about the ones from space. Don't clip that and say mean.
uh, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. We uh we should definitely do this again, either weekly or bi-weekly. What? What?
Now we have to do it bi-weekly because logic nerd.
No, I'm honestly down to do this weekly. We could genuinely make it like an every Friday type of thing
Yeah.
because this has generally been a lot of fun.
I mean, I'll talk to you a minute end for this.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it
uh,
was definitely fun.
we should.
It went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to.
I I agree 100%. All right, Panny. Everybody else, thank you for stopping by. I'm honestly probably gonna clip this entire thing and upload it to the YouTube or whatever because why not? Kendall, I will see you or I'll talk to you in a little. Panny, I will message you and let you know what's happening tomorrow. But it's gonna be it.